Okay, I'm going to be changing or upgrading some of the interior light bulbs today. So I have removed this panel from the top of the steering column behind the steering wheel. There was two Phillips, T20 Torx screws holding that on. Then I removed this plastic piece from below that one. It was sort of sandwiched in, so I had to wiggle that out, and that was held in through those two holes with screws going up into the column, and I think they're also T20s, but they're more of a stubby bolt than a screw. I've got them out of the way just to give me a bit of clearance. Get these screws moved. The next job is to remove this bezel from around the instrument cluster. It's actually metal, and it's held in by two spring clips, one at either side. Now it looks to me like there's a little access hole there, similar to the story of the radio cradle. Same there, so I believe if we get some screwdrivers in there, we can pry back the spring clips and pull this out. That will allow me to remove the clocks. I'm going to upgrade the bulbs at the back of the clocks just because I want to. Then I'm going to try to do the same with any other interior illumination bulbs, including the ones on the ceiling. And there's another one at the back as well. I don't know if I can see it from here, but that's what I'm going to do. I've got LED upgrades for everything, so I'll get this, try and get these clips off and see how we go. That seems to have done it. Yeah, so screwdriver in. You can sort of feel a bit of a resistance, I suppose. When the screwdriver goes in, you're pressing against this. So the more you can press against it, the more you're letting these tabs come away, depress away enough to get past this lip, so you can pull the bezel out. So that is out of the way. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, which look like T20s. Once they're undone, the whole cluster should slide forward. We'll then need to disconnect the plugs at the back in order to free it up. I've managed to take the bolts out, but the cluster appears to catch on these clips, so one more bolt there and one more bolt there to undo. Should get these clips out of the way and should give us full clearance. That's the bolt out, and now wiggle it off to the side. There we are. Follow the same procedure on the other side. So that's now, if I can poke it from the back, that's now free. Ah, okay, so that's actually released the main cradle that the clocks sit in, which we didn't need to be released, but the clips were in the way. So now I'm going to have to push, there we are, push the clocks from behind out of the cradle, tilt them forward a little bit so they don't get caught on the opening of the dash. I'm going to have to use two hands for this bit, just lift it up a little bit and post it through towards myself, I think. That's got it. So that now should clear the steering wheel. This has got a nice lengthy loom, which means you can get the whole clocks out without having to disconnect everything on this one. I think some of the older models with the mechanical input for the speedo would be a different story. So I'm just going to leave this connected you can see that you can reach all the bulbs from the back. So I believe these are T5s, and there will be some T10s as well. There we are. So yeah, as the car's green, I thought I'd treat it to some green LEDs and just see how it looks. I mean, some of them are going through filters anyway. I don't know what it's going to look like. I can always replace them if I don't like it. It's just a bit of fun. So I'm going to pull these out now and replace them. Because I'm replacing these with LEDs, the LEDs will only drive one way unless you have an automatically switched polarity, like a board attached, a rectifying board attached to the LED bulb that you're using. I don't think these do, the ones that I've bought. So what I've done is I've just switched the ignition on. So we've got some lights, we've got some bulbs lighting up, and I'm just going to take one out. So as I twist one out from the back, that's not one of the ones that are in use. Twist one out from the back. There we go, so it's gone off, on, off, on. What I'm able to do then is pull the bulb from the holder, replace it with the one I have in my hand, and then just pop it back in and make sure that it lights up before I leave it alone, because that way I can guarantee that the LED is the right way around. Now if I do this with all of the LEDs into any holder that goes into a spot that the light is on, I can just, once I've got it in there the right way, I can just pull it out and pop it into another spot that the light isn't on, and I know that I've got that the right way around then, and I can just pull that holder out, you know, get the LED set up right and pop it in the hole that does have a light on. So that way I can guarantee all the LEDs are working and they're all the correct polarity, and they're all in the correct holders. So I'm going to go ahead and change some of those now and see how we get on. Well, hopefully you can see that, but that's the ABS. That's the parking light telltale, and it's now lighting up green, which is interesting considering the bulb that came out was just a white light producing bulb. So it must have been going through a red filter to produce the original red light. So that is green light coming through a red filter somehow. Well, I suppose the only light being emitted from the LED will be green. I suppose that's the only light we're going to be able to see, but yeah, it's working. So it's going to look very green when it's done, but I mean, you either need to go green or go home at this point, I guess. I can always go back. Well, that's the bulbs in, so look at that. Green as you like. Yeah, that'll do. It's nice and bright now anyway. At least the dials are all lit up properly, and yeah, everything's got a different shade of green because of all the different coloured filters behind them, but that's something we can live with. I kind of like it. You know, to me, something that's green would have been yellow. Something that's sort of dull green would have been red. Something that's bluey green would have been blue. Good stuff. So I think I'm going to put that back now and call that job done. Amazingly, everything works on these dials, so there's no need for any repairs on this instrument cluster, but that's usually the reason why people take them out. But for now, it was just a bit of an upgrade for me on the old green light. Right, so with all that put back together, we'll focus on this ceiling illumination panel now, which just pops out with the spring clips, and the electrical connector. Oh, we've got falling pieces. The electrical connector for this just slides over this piece of circuit board there and makes contact with the 4 copper plates that you can just see there. So we've got a T10 wedge there, and then a festoon bulb in here. I'm going to go with green on the T10 wedges again, just for fun, but I'm going to go for a bright white LED for the festoon bulb, just if I want some, you know, good bright white light to help me see what I'm doing, and I don't want to be bathed in green. And as you can see, there's a nice collection of miniature insects in there and things like that, so I'm going to give this a bit of a dismantling, and it looks like, yeah, looks like there's tiny little clips in the plastic cover, just there and there, if you can see. Oh, and up there in the corner, it's quite hard to see. Can I get any light on this? Yeah, there you go. You can just about see if it'll focus. There's a clip there and a little clip there. If you pry all them out, the clear plastic panel will come off. You can give that a clean. Same with these little ones. I mean, they look like they're held in by 3 clips, which are very obvious. One big one on the inside that needs prying, and then 2 little ones on the outside that just keep it in place. So I'm gonna unclip these, give them a wipe, change all the bulbs, plug her back in. Okay, I've got everything cleaned. I'm just gonna pop the lenses back in. The bulbs are in already. Yes, that's how it goes. 2 out of 3. And there we are. Pull that clip back into place. Yeah. Nice. 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 So we've got the bright light at the back. That's just on and off. I think I'm going to have that on. Let's have the green lights on the doors. So that's automatic. And then we'll just have the white light when I need it. That'll do. Let's move to the back and do that one. Okay, here we are at the back. There's a little slot at this side for a screwdriver. You can just get one in there, or a trim removal tool. Just pry it down. It's just on a spring clip, I believe. It's on a sideways clip, so even though I pulled it down, it still doesn't want to be free. Yeah, there's a spring clip. It is a pretty strong one. It feels like you're going to break everything. Ooh. Wow, there we go. There we go. So let's just disconnected the bulb because one of these wires, what's going on there? One of these wires got caught, so I can reconnect that now. That won't be a problem. We've got another festoon here. So, but this lens is nice and clean, so I'll just change the bulb on this one. Simple. Okay, so I can just pull the bulb out, put the new bulb in place. There we go, got it the right way around the first time. The connection's a little bit weak, so what I'm going to do is just squeeze the contacts a bit further together, give it a bit of a stronger hold, and then just give it a bit of a wiggle. Let it clean up the surface, the contact surface, get some good conductivity. If it was bad enough, you could give the contacts a brush down with a soft wire brush, and a little bit of a spray with WD-40, and you'll probably think I am sponsored by WD-40 by the end of this, but I'm not. It's just really useful. And then pop it back in. Oh, why is that not? Oh, that's not worked, has it? So you've got to get the plastic tabs in this end first, and then you can allow the clip. Oh, that's still not it. Right, yeah, so what happened there then is I didn't realise that this clip was bent right out. I had to bend it right back down. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pressed it right in now. So with that in place, the loom goes through the hole, the clips go in, and that clips in. It's not perfect, but it was like that to start with. It was pretty loose to start with. I suppose you can try and tighten it up by applying more pressure to just dislodge the bulb now. What's going on here? Apply more pressure to get more of a spring back in there, to get the spring back closer to the original shape that it was in. Once you've bent something out of shape like that, it's going to be hard to get it perfect. Let's just make sure the light's facing the correct way. Seems how it is. Yeah, so it's in place. It's not going to rattle too much, but it's you know, it was a little bit loose to start with. That's how I was able to try and get my nail behind it and thinking, oh, can I just pull it out? But no. So anyway, it is secure, it's not going anywhere. That's that done. I've noticed that there's a switch. I wonder if that means you can have it operating from, you can have it off or manual, I guess, and then automatic with the boot door. Yeah, I'll leave it automatic with the boot door. So the only thing I haven't been able to do here is the illumination for the switches, because the problem we've got here is the bulbs that illuminate the switches. If I can pull one out, they're like, it's almost like custom bulbs. Now I've tried to pull one out of the holder to see if it's like a T5, but it doesn't seem to be, and I can't find any of these available as LEDs. If I could, the chances of finding them in green would be very slim. So I can't do anything about them ones just yet. Leave it with me, see what we can do.